Have you ever noticed how some people keep their circle incredibly small? Not because they can't make friends, not because they're rude, not because they hate people, but because somewhere along the way they decided that having a few real connections matters more than being surrounded by many shallow ones. While everyone else seems to thrive in big groups, constant messages, and endless social plans, these people often seem perfectly content with just one or two close friends, or sometimes no one at all for long stretches of time. And if you're one of those people, you've probably heard the same comments before. Why are you so quiet? You need to get out more. You should meet more people. As if keeping your world small automatically means something is wrong with you. But psychologically, the truth is far more interesting than that. Because people who keep their circle small often don't do it because they dislike connection. They do it because they understand the weight of it. Let me explain. Most people treat relationships like collecting apps on a phone. More is better. More contacts, more followers, more invitations, more names to text when they're bored. But for someone with a small circle, relationships don't feel casual like that. To them, every connection takes energy. Every conversation carries emotional weight. Every friendship is an investment. And psychologically, this often comes from heightened emotional awareness. Some people simply feel social energy more intensely than others. Their brain notices subtleties that other people ignore: tone changes, awkward pauses, hidden intentions, emotional inconsistency. It's like walking into a room and hearing not just the music, but every instrument separately. While others can enjoy the noise, your mind is analyzing the whole composition. That level of awareness can make socializing exhausting. It's not that you dislike people, it's that your brain processes people deeply. You don't just hear words, you hear energy, motive, emotion. And because of that, shallow interactions can start feeling draining instead of fulfilling. There's actually research suggesting that highly introspective or emotionally perceptive people often experience more cognitive fatigue in social settings because their brain is processing more information beneath the surface. In simple terms, your mind doesn't skim interactions, it reads between every line. And that naturally makes you more selective. Because once you start seeing people deeply, you stop being impressed by surface-level charm. You stop chasing popularity. You stop confusing attention with connection. You begin craving something rarer: authenticity. That's why people with very small circles often have one trait in common: trust is not given easily. Not because they're arrogant, not because they think they're better than others, but because experience has taught them that not everyone deserves access to their inner world. Maybe they've been betrayed before. Maybe they opened up to the wrong person and learned how painful it feels when vulnerability is mishandled. Maybe they were once the friend who gave too much, cared too much, stayed too long, until they realized not everyone values loyalty the way they do. And after enough of those experiences, your brain adapts. It becomes protective. Psychologists sometimes call this selective attachment. Your emotional system becomes more cautious about who gets close because closeness no longer feels casual, it feels consequential. Letting someone in means risking disappointment, betrayal, misunderstanding, or emotional exhaustion. So instead of opening the door for everyone, you build a gate. And here's the thing most people misunderstand. That gate is not bitterness, it's discernment. Because people with small circles usually aren't antisocial, they're anti-fake. They don't mind talking, they don't mind laughing, they don't mind being around people. What they mind is forced connection, pretending, surface-level loyalty, smiling in rooms where nobody truly knows each other. To them, having 10 acquaintances often feels lonelier than having one person who genuinely understands them. And yes, sometimes this mindset can make life lonelier. There are moments when keeping your circle small means sitting alone while others seem surrounded by people. There are nights when you question yourself and wonder, am I too distant, too guarded, too hard to know? But often what looks like loneliness from the outside is actually peace on the inside. Because some people would rather protect their peace than entertain chaos.
Some people would rather sit alone in honesty than be surrounded by people who drain them. And that takes strength. In a world obsessed with popularity, being selective is almost rebellious. It means you value depth over appearance, meaning over noise, quality over quantity. Of course, like anything, this can go too far. If your circle is small because fear has convinced you no one can be trusted, that's not strength, that's self-protection becoming isolation. But if your circle is small because you simply know your worth, your energy, and your emotional limits, that's emotional intelligence. That's maturity. Because the older many people get, the more they realize something simple but profound. Not everyone needs access to you. Not everyone deserves your time, your trust, your vulnerability, or your peace. So if you're someone who keeps your circle extremely small, maybe it doesn't mean you're distant. Maybe it doesn't mean you're closed off. Maybe it means your heart has learned the value of protecting what matters. Maybe it means you don't need many people. You just need the right ones. And honestly, there's something beautiful about that. So, tell me, are you someone who keeps your circle small because you've learned to value peace or because life taught you to be careful? Maybe the answer is both. And if this resonated with you, keep reflecting, keep learning, and stay curious about the quiet ways your mind